One of my many passions that has swung to the wayside when my life has become more and more busy with my high school journey coming to a close is my immense interest in anime. For years I would watch nothing but different anime when it would come on a Toonami block, and when that would eventually end, I would Google episodes and probably infect my old PC with a ton of viruses I didn't need. However, as previously stated, I have had less and less time to continue watching anime. However, that doesn't delete my memories with the classics I would watch in my youth, and while it is far from the favorite of the anime I've watched, I could never quite forget about Dragon Ball Z. Today we'll be looking at an old favorite of mine, Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3. Now let's begin. Nowadays there are two types of fighting games. Games that have an insane amount of depth and require strong character/game knowledge in order to master your character and compete at a higher level. These are your Tekkens, your Ultimates, your Street Fighters. And then there are the quote-unquote fighting games, which do in fact have fighting, but they aren't really focusing on the technicality of combat as much as they are creating a spectacle while you're mashing your attack button over and over again. Your Jump Forces, your Narutos, your Xenoverses. DBZ BT3 falls into the latter of these two mediums, mainly focusing on recreating some of the cool-ass attacks and style that Dragon Ball Z is known for. This may sound negative to some, but what this game lacks in complex fighting mechanics, it makes up for in two things: characters and style. And when I say it makes up for it in characters, this game has anyone you could imagine from Dragon Ball, with the exception of some of the more recent characters from Super and the like. Ranging from Dragon Ball staples like Goku and Krillin to some of the more mundane characters who somehow have a place in this fighting game, like Hercule Satan and General Tao, to the even more obscure characters like the old movie villains. And of course, characters who have even more screen time end up with more costumes and transformations, bolstering the diversity of the roster. While this may seem like too many for a fighting game, that's the beauty of these simpler fighting games. Without having to give a moveset as deep as Sub-Zero's to every single fighter, they can bring in every possible Dragon Ball character known to man into these games. While Dragon Ball FighterZ is cool and all for the competitive crowd, as someone who mostly plays this game casually, the pure amount of characters available in something like Budokai leans me towards picking it over a game like Fighters. While character variety past special moves might not be too intense, the novelty of seeing all these characters fighting gives it plenty of points in my book. Speaking of the characters' movesets, the specials are really the only thing that help differentiate between multiple characters. Every character in the game has a few basic functions: a basic combo string consisting mostly of punches and kicks, or whatever weapons the character may be in possession of, a barrage of homing projectiles using ki, a charged version of both of these moves, albeit both are pretty useless with how slow they are, 360-degree flying, guarding, charging forwards up or down, and most of the characters can charge ki on command. Certain characters have it slowly charge over time though, such as the androids, and charging ki then pressing a series of buttons does your special moves. These special moves are the bread and butter of the game. Of course, many characters have similar moves, a lot of Kamehamehas and functionally similar beam attacks, both Krillin and 18 having Destructo Disc, etc. But each character in at least one of their variations has a completely unique move. And when I say unique, the really unique ones are really fucking unique. Hercule brings in Majin Buu to fight for him after getting his ass kicked, Captain Ginyu can just change into another character, and Gohan gets his family Kamehameha. These all serve as a grandiose amount of fan service, and when playing this game for the first time with a few of my friends, we would all scream and go wild when a character had a really cool special. If you went into a dictionary and found the definition of passable, this game would be right there in all its glory. The single player is by no means bad, but with a game that doesn't have too much depth, single player is probably the weakest point. There's a few single player modes, but they all end up feeling the same. There's Dragon History, which tells the story of several arcs in the anime/movies in chapters, half-heartedly narrated by either Goku, Krillin, Piccolo, Vegeta, Trunks, Hercule, or Pan, who all offer small, albeit fun dialogue on what they were feeling at the time of the event happening. These recreations of the anime are lackluster at best, oftentimes just using dialogue over the models in their idle animation as cutscenes. But these cutscenes don't do anything above or beyond at all. At first I found what they were able to achieve as charming, however that quickly wore off when I realized that they don't come off as working with limitations, but more so as laziness. That and the AI is really fucking unforgiving. Maybe I'm just playing this game wrong, but the AI is just stupid sometimes. I had it set to easy and I still got horrendously bullied by Frieza at the end of his arc. The joke that Dragon Ball is just waiting for two characters to power up is used way too often, but weirdly enough this game emulates that feeling, because sometimes the most efficient way of fighting is to charge up, use a ranged super attack, and then charge up again, rinse and repeat. However, this isn't a problem with just the story mode, but all AI battles in the game, and that's no fun when every other single player mode is just variations on the standard single player battle. Alongside Dragon History, there's a training mode, a tournament mode that has some fun theming revolving around the anime, and then the ultimate battle mode, which is a few fun distractions, but ultimately still carry over the problems of the standard AI. There are 4 sub-modes of Ultimate Battle. Sim Dragon, which is a cute little training sim followed by a series of battles. It's fun, and I think my favorite of the single player modes. Mission 100, which is basically just your Smash Bros. Event mode of this game. Survival, which is self-explanatory. And Disc Fusion, which wasn't something I was able to do in my version of the game, but using the PlayStation 2 you can unlock extra challenges for yourself. Of course, now it feels annoying not having a PlayStation 2 and unable to experience it. However, if I was a kid and it had this feature, I'd probably love it. This game is difficult for me. As much as I want to say it's a solid game and commend it for what it does achieve, so much of the game requires unlocking via a personally unfun single-player experience. Budokai Tenkaichi 3 is almost the dictionary definition of a 7 out of 10 game, but rather than being average in most aspects, it's mostly good with a surplus of mediocre content. So yeah, I guess I rate the game a 7 out of 10. However, my recommendation is don't go out of your way to play this game unless you're a Dragon Ball fan, or are friends with a Dragon Ball fan. You'll get more mileage that way. So with that out of the way, Dragon Ball Super, kinda all over the place, right? I enjoy the animation, but the plot feels kinda weak, I don't know. Maybe that one's just me. Do you enjoy Dragon Ball Super? Did you enjoy Budokai Tenkaichi 3? Let me know either here or on Twitter. And as always, if you enjoy this stuff, do the likes and the subscribes. I've been RVRocks, and thank you so much for watching. See ya!